Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about my craziest owl house theory to date, yet it has so much possibility for being true. Now, I'm going to need you guys to stay with me because I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you in this video. But, I do believe that I actually have a great groundwork for what might be the most accurate owl house theory to date, and what might be the most interesting owl house theory to date. Now, if you haven't seen the latest episodes of the Owl House, make sure you watch them before you watch this video. But with that out of the way, let's get started. Okay, so to start, we have these two brothers, and we already know that I talked about recently with some friends in a modcast here, that these two brothers are obviously Philip, aka Bellows, and his brother, who I'm going to theorize is named Hunter, and since that's what Bellows named the Grimwalker, Hunter. And yes, we've already established that this guy looks a lot like Hunter, and that the bone of the orteat used in the Grimwalker recipe is probably the bone of Bellows' dead brother. Now, quick recap, we know how the brother died too. We talked about this recently. We talked about how that they came to the Boiling Isles and they died in Eclipse Lake. He died at Eclipse Lake. Philip said in the journal, aka Bellows, that he lost his entire crew. That might be multiple people, but we know that his brother was probably one of them at Eclipse Lake. Now, what we haven't talked about much is the fact that the brothers, how they got to the Boiling Isles. And see, originally, I honestly did this theory as a joke. Like, I was just like, I'm gonna just talk about this and get silly. But as I started to research it more, the sides of this theory started to put together. So, we have two brothers who were supposedly tricked by a witch and taken to the demon realm, aka the Boiling Isles. We've already talked about how these brothers already have glyphs and a palisman, aka Little Rascal, right there on the other brother's soldier. Now, what I believe is the witch actually helped the brothers with magic, which helped them settle the town of Gravestone, the town that Luce lives in Connecticut. I believe the witch helped them with magic to settle the town, and therefore they agreed to go practice more magic with the witch in the Boiling Isles and help her with something. Now, I've gone over some thoughts of who this witch could be. I've thought about, possibly Hecate, but I want to take this a bit of a step further, okay? I believe that the witch itself is actually a extension of the Titan. And I'm saying this not just because of the demonic tale there, but let's think about this for a second. Who has been whispers supposedly in Bellows' ear this whole time, telling him what to do? Whose will does Bellows follow? Well, that's easy. Bellows follows the Titan's will. He says it all the time. It's literally his most go-to phrase at this point is, I'm just following the will of the Titan. This is the Titan's will. He says that so much, yet we've always assumed that it was just part of his religious manipulation, using religion to manipulate the denizens of the Boiling Isles. But what if it's not? See, I think the Titan has been pulling the strings the whole time, and that the Titan is the main villain of the Owl House. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but just hear me out for a second, okay? Bellows is now a sympathetic villain, okay? His brother died in the Boiling Isles, and now he's working to get his brother back. That's why he made Hunter, aka the Grimwalker, to have a new body for his brother. Now, how did he learn about all of this, right? That's a question that I think a lot of people have asking is, how did he learn to make a Grimwalker? Where did he get this information? How did he even find out about Eclipse Lake where his brother went and died? Well, this all goes back to this witch. She brought him to the Boiling Isles. She brought them both to the Boiling Isles. This witch brought them there. This witch probably told them about Eclipse Lake and that they needed to go there to get home. But this witch probably left out the part about the fool's blood, and knew that they would go for the fool's blood and that it would result in the death. I believe all of this was premeditated and premeditated by, someone pulling all the strings, and I believe it was the Titan in this case. But why? Why would the Titan need to kill a brother and bring a human to the Boiling Isles? Well, the Titan needed a human who was obsessed with magic and could be motivated by grief. By killing the brother and then saying, hey, I can get your brother back to life, all you have to do is do all of this and you can have him back, then that's the whole motive. And that would make any choice that Bellows has made up to this point not his own. And when you think about it, that's actually true. What it would seem like is that none of Bellows' choices have been his own. And I know you're wondering, like, if the witch helped sell the town, wouldn't there be more information about the witch than just this one page? Well, actually, that's a very interesting thing. The brothers had a civic hall where they kept all their important documents, right? In the human world back in Connecticut. Well, guess what happened the night the witch took the brothers? It's kind of glossed over. I don't know if you guys actually fully remember this, but the whole place burned down. Conveniently. The place that would have had any more information on the witch, any of the brothers' notes, any of the possible magic, yeah, it all burned down. So, they were trying to hide it from the other humans. But again, I say this because Bellows is obviously grief-stricken by the death of his brother. So, someone had to tell Bellows about the Day of Eclipse, and that the Day of Eclipse could be used to bring your brother back. I don't think the Day of Eclipse is written in any books in the Boiling Isles. I don't believe the information is available to everyone. If the Day of the Eclipse was common knowledge, or available in any history books, someone would know about it. But that's not the case. The Day of the Eclipse is an ancient ritual that no one seems to know about but Bellows. Also, Bellows erased all wild magic from the world. Why would he do this? Probably because the Titan told him to erase all wild magic, so that way no one could find out about the Day of the Eclipse. Because the Day of the Eclipse in itself, it's probably a wild magic spell. And Bellows thinks it's going to be used when it merges the worlds, that it'll allow him to bring back his brother. But doesn't the spell seem too powerful just to bring back one human soul? No, I believe this is to bring back the Titan. And Hunter's probably the vessel for the Titan, our Hunter that we currently have, the Grimwalker Hunter. So everything Bellows has done up to this point has been manipulated. He believes he's bringing his brother back to life and he's going through whatever means. And the reason Bellows has knowledge that he shouldn't have is because, from what we know, one of the oldest beings in the Boiling Isles is fueling his knowledge. Even when Bellows gets upset, the Titan reacts. They're obviously combined and joined at this point. So, you guys kind of get where I'm going with this, right? You kind of started to see a pattern of connections. Well, there's actually a bit more connections I wanted to talk about. So, there's a secret message in each season, and you guys obviously know this. There was the one in the first season about the blood and souls. Well, the message in this season is really interesting. So when you translate this little gibberish through the Owl House translator, you get this message. Let me actually pull up the message for you guys. And when I read this message the first time, I immediately just thought it was talking about Hunter. But no, this isn't just about Hunter. I think this message has a double meaning. Seething seas and a puppet strings he no longer dreams of. Seething seas and a puppet strings. So, seething seas obviously refers to the seas of the Boiling Isles as they boil and seethe. They burn. Puppet string. Now, a puppet string obviously could be referring to Hunter, but if Bellows is being manipulated by the Titan, it could easily also be referring to Bellows himself. He's being manipulated, and he no longer dreams of. Now, what could he no longer be dreaming of? Well, I imagine Bellows originally had a goal for learning more magic, progressing the town that him and his brother founded with the magic. But now that dream, it's not there anymore. He no longer dreams of it. Because see, Hunter has no dreams. Hunter's only dream is to serve Bellows. And it's not really a dream, it's more of his de facto thing for living. But Bellows probably dreamed of a happy life with his brother, progressing the town they once lived in. But at this point, that dream is no more. Too much time has passed. Also, this theory kind of brings back to something that we talked about in one of our really old Owl House videos. There's actually a theme in the Owl House. I don't know if you guys know this. This was one of our very first videos. But there's a theme of twos in the Owl House. Like, it's more of a theme of threes. So it's two people and usually an outside force manipulating them. So this happens in the Owl House. The first theme that we have right here are the two brothers. And the outside force that manipulated them would be the witch. The witch, aka, that I believe is part of the Titan. And then there's also the connection between Ida and Lilith, two sisters who were manipulated, siblings, and they were manipulated, and also one was forced to curse the other. Now the manipulated sister on this part was Lilith, and she was manipulated by the outside force of Bellows in the Emperor's Coven. This theme of two even progresses down one more generation, where we have Hunter and Luce. The theme of two was Hunter is being manipulated by Bellows. So, I believe that with this theme that we have going on here, we can safely assume, yeah, Bellows is being manipulated. He falls under the theme of two. One brother wouldn't have been manipulated, one brother would. Now, why would I say one brother would be manipulated? Because I believe the witch carefully calculated which brother would be easily, controlled by grief. So, say the younger brother had a bit more of a brain on his shoulders and was a bit less likely to listen to his emotions. That's why the younger brother had to be the one to die. Because then the Titan witch couldn't manipulate them. That's why they needed it to be Bellows, because they knew that they could exploit Bellows, aka Philip, through the grief-stricken mess that he would be, to try to bring back his brother, but really fall right into the plans. It's the same when you look at Lilith. Lilith is the easier one to manipulate. She wasn't a prodigy like Ida, and she cared about what everyone thought. So it was easy for Bellows to manipulate Lilith into pretty much making Ida useless by giving her the curse. And when it comes to Hunter and Luce, obviously Hunter is a lot easier to manipulate than Luce. I mean, Hunter doesn't have anything outside of Bellows. So, I believe this theory actually holds a lot of merit. And it's actually funny because, like I said, I thought this theory started as a joke to me in my mind that I made with my other mods. But the more I looked into it, the more I thought about it, the more I realized, wow, actually, there's a lot to think about here, guys. Like, none of Bellows' actions could have been random. Like, at all. They couldn't have been random. Think about it. A witch came to the brothers, who were trying to settle a new town, taught them magic, helped them settle the town, and then tucked them to the Boiling Isles. That wasn't their choice. The witch pretty much manipulated them into going into the Boiling Isles. Now, there's no way Bellows could have found out about Eclipse Lake. It's ancient. People weren't going to talk about Eclipse Lake out in the open. It's not something that's mentioned every day in the Boiling Isles. That witch had to have told them about the Eclipse Lake and that they could get Titan's blood to make it back home. Manipulated again. Then that witch left out the detail about the Fool's blood, dooming them to a death, all except for Bellows. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Titan didn't kill Bellows on purpose, because don't forget, Eclipse Lake is inside the Titan's dying veins. So he could probably manipulate who died from his Fool's blood and who couldn't. Then from there on, Bellows had to learn about a way to bring his brother back to life, the Day of Unity. That's not a common knowledge spell, guys. That's not something that, like, oh, every average witch in the Boiling Isles knows about the Day of Unity, duh. It's a spell every day. No, someone had to teach him that. The Titan who's been whispering things in his ears this whole time. Bellows has been manipulated up to this point, all by the Titan, all to bring back his brother. And it's a chain of manipulations that we've seen throughout the generations of twos, all leading back to this one source. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think this makes for an interesting theory and an even more interesting twist to the series. So, guys, please let me know what you think about this theory. I've put a lot of thought into it, and please let me know in the comments, and also subscribe to my new channel. Like I said, I'm going to be uploading here full time now, and Ashi signing out.